Hi, everybody. My name is Angus Wright, but I also go by Angus by Design. And I just wanted to create this video in order to read an article uh, that is part of the Wellness Recovery Action Plan facilitator training handouts. And I've been involved in my own personal rap for about 5 years now. And myself and my service dog, Beau H Regard, we're currently both advanced level facilitators in wellness recovery action planning as certified by the Advocates for Human Potential. And so if you'd like more information about that, please feel free to visit angusbydesign.com and follow the links to all of the places. But the purpose for me in reading this article, it's because I cultivate a daily practice where I look for words of affirmation, words of encouragement in my pursuit of my health and wellness, but also in celebration of my very, very vibrant life. And so I have a wheel that I spin. I have, journals that I do. I have articles that I write. And part of that component is what I call the importance of language and meaning. And I created a hashtag, but also a mantra that says, hoping all supportive healers, truth and gratitude. And basically, it's, hashtags and mantras are using words or phrases preceded by a hashtag. And so that's the practice. And then I share it on social media and applications that I am a participant in. But this is an influence and something that's very important to my life. So I'm going to read this article. That was a long introduction, but here we are. This is also a tool and a resource for myself. So I'm practicing in real time and hopefully just building my own personal skills, but engaging with the tools that keep me well. So, RAP facilitator training handouts, the power and importance of language. Why it's important that we become intentional with language. As facilitators, we have inherited a position of power and influence that we may not only be uncomfortable with, but also directly challenges our ability to model the values and ethics of RAP as facilitators. This comes from years of experience people have in learning environments, as well as traditional models of support that are based on the idea that an expert's knowledge and experience are what is best for you. As a RAP facilitators, we have learned and practiced ways of learning and supporting each other that is based on mutuality. So people coming to a rap workshop often have never experienced this way of relating and understandably may have a different expectation of us as an educator. They will likely view and treat you as an expert. So it is because of participants' expectations and prior orientation to education and support that our word choice and communication styles become essentially tools in achieving and learning environments that has made RAP come alive in such effective ways for so many people. For example, while we want to empower participants to discover their own truths about their wellness and value each other's ideas and contributions, many will assume you, as the facilitator, will have the answers and best ideas. And that gives us more power and influence than we deserve or want. So, to work through the challenge of how people's past experiences shape the way they see us and respond to us, we can focus on three tasks. One, recognize the existence of this bias and the dynamics playing out in our dialogues. Two, Be intentional with what we say in this context. And three, be intentional with how we use language. So, when we talk about intentionality, we are referring to being very conscious and purposeful with what we are saying and how it might be received. In the context of rap facilitation, this means we are conscious and purposeful into the communication in ways that promote a relationship of mutuality or as peers. So, language conveys much more than the meaning we intend by our words. In communication, there is intent and impact. And in between, we are left to sort out the misunderstandings. When we are not paying close attention to this reality, we tend to be unaware that our view of the world and our deepest beliefs about recovery and wellness can be communicated to others as judgments. Sometimes our intentions are not understood due to cultural differences. Other times they are all too well understood, despite the fact that we tried to hide them or denied to ourselves that we had them. This is why the work that we do as RAP facilitators is an ongoing process of internalizing the concepts and values and ethics into a way of thinking and acting. So, when our values and ways of seeing each other are not aligned with the values and ethics of RAP, it becomes apparent in our language. So, our purpose in addressing language in RAP facilitator training is to is to touch on the dynamics and importance of communication in facilitating wellness. Helps participants understand that we all give messages that are not helpful or not what we intended, and to let participants know that effective RAP facilitation involves an extra effort to be mindful and intentional in our use of language. So, although years of learning unproductive ways of communicating cannot be undone quickly, we can raise awareness and empower new facilitators to continue their ongoing practice in using language in ways that fosters mutuality and wellness. There are words that help and words that hinder recovery, particularly as it relates to facilitating a shift from a focus on people's deficits and an illness view to a holistic, people first and strengths focused view. Additionally, there are words used in the traditional system of care for people in recovery that are judgmental and just hurtful. However, merely replacing a set of vocabulary with another set of words with the same negative intentions and meaning will not foster the growth and learning people need. So, for example, saying that a person is being resourceful instead of manipulative when you really think they are just manipulating you or manipulating people to get what they want falls short of working for anyone's benefit in the long run. When we look into the intention and meaning behind manipulative, we see a view of the person that lacks trust and views their actions as a personal lack of regard for others. On the other hand, resourceful implies ability to know one's limits and multiple options for surviving. Seeing a person as truly resourceful implies that they have the potential to accomplish more with the right resources and information. So, as RAP facilitators, the power of language is in developing within ourselves the awareness to see the people we work with through the through the lens of the values and ethics. So sometimes the best we can do is to be aware of ourselves and our own limitations and defer to our co-facilitators. So, to develop your own self awareness around your use of language, explore the following. Listen to your stories and reflect. Are there messages of illness? Are you using language of powerlessness or disability? Is your language discouraging, or may it even rob people of their hope? Is it is there anything in your language that may discourage people from exploring all their options? Does your story of language send messages that may stifle or silence a person's efforts at self advocacy? And does your story convey messages that may steer people away from their natural supporters? So, next, to develop your intentionality with your stories and language, explore the following. Think about the following questions. You may want to do some journaling or peer listening exercise on these questions. So, how can you use language differently to transform your stories so they're about wellness and getting what you want out of life rather than about illness and recovery? How can you use language and tell your story in new ways that will liberate people by offering hope and a sense of limitless possibilities? How can you use language and tell your stories in new ways that will inspire people to take charge and freely exercise their power to be responsible? How can you use language and tell your story in new ways that will encourage people to explore all their options? And how can you use language, tell your stories, and listen in new ways that will both hear and encourage people's self advocacy? And how can you use language and tell your stories in new ways that will build stronger relationships and foster natural support networks? So, sitting comfortably with silence. A key tenet to RAP facilitation is that the facilitator and participants bring precious gifts to the shared learning relationship. However, as previously mentioned, participants are not likely to come into this training with the notion that they are valued and have much to offer at, as the teacher. Therefore, people will need an environment that makes them feel safe and empowered to contribute and perhaps even rebound from past oppressive learning environments in schools or other institutions. One tool in creating this safe and empowering space is called silence. Silence, our silence, is necessary so we can listen. By respecting silence, we are able to listen and we are therefore much more likely to receive the gift of something to hear. So, to those who have been silenced in the past, there may be no greater way to empower them than to speak, empowering them to speak, than offering our silence as we listen to them. So, one advanced level facilitator shared a tip using silence called WAIT. Why am I talking? This is an acronym that you might find helpful to think when facilitating that focus that this is an acronym you may find helpful to think of when facilitating that focuses us on the point that we may be saying more than needed or not allowing participants to figure things out for themselves or contribute. So the expert may tell you what you need to know, but the facilitator will help you lead to your own worth and ability. So this material was copyrighted by Mary Ellen Copeland, who has a PhD. This was a document that was copyright protected in 2014, all rights reserved. And if you go to www.mentalhealthrecovery.com, you will find the current site for the Advocates for Human Potential. So Again, my name is Angus. I also go by Angus by Design. I'm an artist and a person with lived experience. I am a certified peer specialist. I am just a person with a lot of experience showing up and showing out and living an authentic life. If you'd like to learn more about me or get in touch or stay in touch or get in touch or work together or collaborate in some way, please feel free to visit angusbydesign.com. Email me at angus@angusbydesign.com, or just poke me wherever you see me. But just be kind, be gentle, and be mutual. And that involves just being kind. So thank you, everybody.